Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Echo plant. This is just our big plant. And it is the meeting of September 10th for the Sacramento Area Sewer District. And I think we have members here that are ready to sit down and participate. Yes. Okay, so we have some technology we're working on today, and I have asked Director Kaplan to help me. So you push your little white button to request to speak, and Lisa will see your name on our little screen here. Maybe, yeah. Okay. Let's call a roll and make sure we have a quorum.
Good morning, everyone. Directors Desmond. Here. Dickinson. Here. Hume.
Here.
Jennings. Kaplan.
Here.
Kennedy. Orozco. Pluckybaum. Here. Rathel.
Here.
Robles. Here. Rodriguez. Sander. Cerna. And Chair Kopinski-Costa.
Present.
You have a quorum with the members present. Let the record reflect that Directors Jennings, Kennedy, Orozco, Rodriguez, Sander, Cerna are not present for this meeting.
Director Soon is here too, though. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't hear you call
Director Soon. I apologize. Director Orozco. For the record, Director Soon is present.
Just for today.
You do have a quorum. And for the record also, Member Orozco has arrived.
Okay, we're going to ask Director Soon to make sure he's here to lead us in the pledge.
Hand over heart, ready, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So our first item, you have a public comment thing to read.
I have an announcement.
Yes.
Madam Chair, this meeting of the Sacramento Area Sewer District is live and recorded with closed captioning. It is cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV U-verse cable systems. It is also live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Sunday, September 14th at 9 a.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/MetroCable14. SAC Sewer board members are compensated $100 for their participation in board meetings. Excuse me. Compensation for Sacramento County supervisors and City of Sacramento and Citrus Heights council members is paid to the counties and cities, respectively, to partially offset the costs of those governments. Compensation for the other agencies is paid directly to the individual board members. Compensation for these legislative body meetings is verbally disclosed at each board meeting in accordance with California Government Code Section 54952.3. To make an in-person public comment, please complete a speaker request form and hand it to the clerk. The chairperson will call your name when it's your turn to make a comment. You may also send written comments by email to boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. This concludes your announcement.
Thank you. First item, please.
First item are consent matters, items 1 through 4 for approval.
Do any members want to pull any items or have any questions or comments?
I see none.
See none?
I'll move approval of consent.
Is there any public comment on those items?
We do not have any public comment.
Okay. Moved by Kaplan, seconded by
Desmond.
Robles.
Was it Robles?
So we vote by roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Director Desmond?
Aye.
Dickinson?
Aye.
Hume?
Aye.
Kaplan?
Aye.
Orozco?
Aye.
Pluckybaum?
Aye.
Rathel?
Aye.
Robles?
Aye.
Soon?
Aye.
And Chair Kopinski-Costa?
Yes.
And Villegas? Your motion passes.
Okay.
Unanimous.
Next item, please.
The next item is comments from the public on issues not posted on the agenda. And let me check our queue. We do not have any public comments at this time.
Okay. Next item.
Next item is miscellaneous district engineer matters. Presenter Christoph Dobson.
Good morning, Chair and board members. Welcome to the Echo Water Resource Recovery Facility. Thank you for taking the trip down here, or maybe it was even shorter if you live in Elk Grove, but for some of our members. Just a couple of quick things. First of all, our meeting on the 24th is 2 weeks from now. We do have that meeting, so we'll have both meetings in September. And also, we are looking into the October meeting because I hear that may be a conflict with League of Cities. I don't know if that will endanger our quorum or not, so probably do a little poll. I'm getting the no-go symbol from Kaplan, so. But we'll check and see. I know we do have a fair amount of items on that agenda, but we'll have to take a look and see how critical those are, and then also get a poll from you all. And then just last thing, I just want to mention that this item previously we have combined. It's been the miscellaneous district engineer and director matters, and we've separated those two on a suggestion from Chair Karpinski-Costa to keep them separate. It just makes it a little bit more straightforward. So this is my part of it, and then you will have an opportunity at the end of the agenda to have any comments on our miscellaneous matters, and then also if you need to bring up anything for future meetings. So that's how we're doing it. That's all I have. Thanks.
Are there any questions or comments on that report, our miscellaneous report? Seeing none. Next item, please.
Next item, Madam Chair, is number 7, approved memorandum of understanding with Local 39. Presenter Christoph Dobson, District Engineer.
All right, back again. This is one of 4 MOUs that we are in the process of working through. Your board has already approved the first one. That was with our professional association. This MOU is with our field group, and it's Local 39 is the union that represents them. And then we have 2 more coming that we're looking for probably the second meeting in October, and that would be our administrative staff and the supervisors. So that would, at that point, we will have wrapped up all of our MOUs, have everybody under contract. So this one, just give a few highlights. Equities were recommended basically through our salary survey that we did. The consultant was called Gallagher, and they did this compensation study. There were 9 classes that indicated equities were appropriate out of the total of 35 classes. So what we're seeing as we're using our comparable agencies is that some of the classifications were right in the ballpark, and others were not, probably because they weren't being compared with the right types of classifications previously. So we're bringing these all up to the market. That's our goal, is to get to the median of the market, and this is over 3 years, so 3 fiscal years. So the equities are phased in to get to the market. And then similar to our MOU we already had with the professional association, we added 2.5% longevity pay at 15 years. So that is a new benefit. And then we increased the medical subsidy. We used to have 80% of Kaiser, and we've moved that up to 90%. That gets us, again, very close to our comparable agencies that we are benchmarking with. And then the last thing, and I think this is an important one, is that we're adding a matching contribution to a 401A plan. So if an employee puts in 1% of their salary towards their deferred comp, we have a 457B plan already, then the district matches that 1%. And in this case, it's up to 3% matching. And that's really important because our employees very rapidly are becoming all PEPRA employees with the lower pension benefits, and so we're trying to encourage employees to contribute to their retirement and make up that difference. So, I do have a correction to be made there in the financial summary. It has longevity pay listed as $21,000. There is a typo there. It's missing a zero. It's $210,000. You may have catch that. It seemed awfully low. And that brings the total to $3,370,000. So I just wanted to make that official correction there. And with that, that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from our members? Board Member Suen.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Christophe, for trying to bring equity to all the employees. I was just curious. I think I know the answer, but I want to get your take. You're taking 3 years to establish equities, and I think people are needing every bit of their salary now. I was just wondering why 3 years and not maybe something faster.
Basically, we looked at our long-term projections and the basically the process of budgeting, and it was not clear when we embarked on this how much this was going to cost, and there's a significant cost to it. So by bringing in over 3 years, it's an opportunity to essentially have a gradual ramp up on the budget. And we took that approach with the executives and unrepresented when we did that study early on, not knowing, what the full financial impact would be. And so we're taking that same approach and bringing it over the 3 years. There are some equity increases that are pretty substantial, and so we felt it was appropriate to do that over 3 years.
So when they shift over, are they had they stayed, with the county per se, lack of a better term, would they have been at a higher compensation rate? So are they taking a pay cut, in other words, to come over to Sac Sewer right now, and then 3 years to get back up to where they should be?
No.
Okay.
So they came across at the exact same salary. So they started at the same place. I would be surprised, and I can't say in every classification because I haven't done a comparison with the county, but I would be surprised if anyone is ending up lower than where their county counterparts were.
I see.
Or are.
Okay, thank you. Second.
Okay, before we vote, is there any public comment on this item?
We do not have any public comment at this time. It was moved by Dickinson and seconded by Kaplan. Thank you.
Just curious, did you push the little light guy? Did it work?
It did.
Okay. Because they're testing the technology, I think.
Okay, let us vote. Desmond? Aye. Dickinson? Aye. Hume? Aye. Jennings? Kaplan?
Aye.
Orozco? Aye. Pleckbaum? Aye. Rathel? Aye. Robles? Aye. Soon?
Aye.
And Chair Kapinski-Costa.
Yes.
Your motion passes unanimously.
And then Sandy has also arrived. In place of Supervisor Oscar Diego.
Dixie Sandy, okay, thank you.
Okay, next item, please.
Your next item is item number 8, Echo Water Resource Recovery Facility Biosolids Management Plan Update. Presenter will be Sonny Lundy, Director of Echo Water Operations.
While Sonny makes his way up to the podium, I have just a couple of quick opening comments. The first one is that just keep in mind what Sonny's going to share with us today. You've been hearing little bits and pieces of the biosolids or the solids emergency that we've been having and sort of the operational things. This is now the capital, the implications on the capital side. This is some significant infrastructure we're going to have to build. And I want to make it very clear that this is because of our 2010 permit and the Echo Water program that we built, and we felt like we were done building. That created some new facilities that changed the makeup of our solids, and it's created this new need now to address the solids, basically to increase our capabilities to handle the solids. So it all ties back to that 2010 permit. And then one more thing, I just want to give some kudos to staff. They put together a remarkable product. The biosolids management plan that they built was led by staff, not by consultants. We had some national experts come in and participate on the technical advisory committee, but staff put this together, and they were best positioned to do that. It's a very well thought out document, and they put a lot of effort into it and did a very good analysis of the alternatives, including some very cutting edge technologies, and basically came to a recommendation that is not only the cheapest life cycle cost, but also it was superior in terms of social and environmental factors as well. They did a full analysis of that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sonny.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. My name is Sonny Lundy, the Director of EcoWater Facility, Director of EcoWater Facility Operations. Today I'll give you an update on the future of our biosolids here at EcoWater. This is only an update, no board action is required at this time. As we progress through the presentation, I'll talk about our current biosolids challenges in the future. I'll talk about some immediate and interim actions that we've taken to date. And then we'll talk about the development and recommendations that came from the biosolids management plan and staff's efforts. We'll also talk about the implementation costs and alternatives for implementation, and then the schedule of the project, and then finally a conclusion. In 2010, Sac Sewer received a new stringent treatment requirements for its liquid stream. Notably, the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System, NPDES permit, required the removal of both ammonia and total nitrogen from our treatment processes. And it also required Title 22 equivalent water, essentially recycled water equivalent. As a result, EcoWater set out on the EcoWater program, which consisted of 3 major projects that affected our biosolids. These were the Biological Nutrient Removal Project, BNR, commissioned in 2021, the Tertiary Treatment Facility, TTF, commissioned in 2023, and then lastly, the Nitrifying Side Stream Treatment, NST, which was commissioned in 2018. Implementation of the biological nutrient removal and the TTF required a need for a permit to meet permit requirements, caused significant biosolids issues here at our resource recovery facility. The new BNR sludge is less biodegradable during the digestion process, throughout the digestion process. The new solids do not settle as well in our solid storage basins. Therefore, we've lost some capacity in our solid storage basins. And then thirdly, slightly more solids are being captured as part of our new treatment processes. Essentially, our biosolids exceed our available disposal capacity. Roughly about 40% more disposal capacity is needed for our biosolids. In early 2023, about 18 months after BNR came online, the plant started realizing a significant process upset. Solids began to accumulate throughout our processes, in our ponds, and through our various treatment processes. At that time, we were approximately 3 weeks away from having to discharge some of those solids, unfortunately, to the river, and violating our discharge permit, which is not a good thing. We avoided that. We implemented some immediate mitigation measures. You can see one here up on the right is protecting of the overflow of our solid storage basin overflow. So the solids that you can see outside the boom area here don't overflow and return back to the treatment plant and continue to increase the risk of losing our process. On August 10th, 2023, an emergency declaration was made by the district engineer to your board. This allowed us
We'll reconvene. Can you continue where you left off?
Madam Chair, may I do a roll call to resume
Oh, all right.
to make sure we establish a quorum?
Nobody ducked out. Okay.
Director Desmond? Here. Dickinson? Here. Hume? Here. Kaplan? Here. Tuckabaum? Rathel? Here. Robles? Here. Soon?
Here.
Vixie Sandy?
Recording in progress.
And Chair Kapinski Costa.
Present.
And Cerner present.
And Member Cerna
Yes, here.
is present.
Member Roscoe?
Member Orozco? Yes. You have a member, have a quorum with all the members present. Thank you.
Great.
You may resume.
Okay, I will continue.
Thank you.
So on August 10th, 2023, emergency declaration was made by the district engineer. This allowed Echo Water to start implementing Phase 1, which was emergency funding of $5 million for removal of biosolids from our solid storage basins. Subsequent to Phase 1, we embarked on Phase 2. Phase 2 was competitively bid process, and to remove additional biosolids using the same process. Both phases used a process to extract and place biosolids in geotubes. It was a geotube dewatering process. The pictures here show that process, which occurred between summer of 2023 and summer of 2024. A total of 120 dewatering geotubes were used. These geotubes were over 6 feet tall, 30 feet wide, and 120 foot long. So quite a large operation. It spread over 20 acres on one of our dedicated land disposal sites, and these sites are about 40 acres. So it took up over half of one of these sites.
Pardon me, Mr. Lundy, I do apologize. We have to take another recess due to technology issues. We apologize. Madam Chair?
Recess for technology. Okay, we reconvened. Let's do roll call again.
Okay. Director Desmond? Here. Dickinson? Here. Hume? Here. Kaplan? Here. Orozco? Here. Pleckybom? Rathel? Here. Robles? Here. Vice Chair Cerna?
Here.
Soon?
Here.
Vixie Sandy? Present. And Chair Kapinski Costa.
Present.
You have a quorum with the members present.
Okay,
Again.
let's go for it again.
Ignore it.
Thank you. Phase
Yeah,
1,
you have to
Phase
Push
2.
that little button that says off.
Phase 1, Phase 2 dewatering process. While this dewatering process served to get a lot of biosolids out of our ponds very quickly by removing 12,000 dry tons of solids from our solid storage basin at a cost just under $10 million, it was a very challenging process. The significant debris resulting from cutting the bags open and spreading out the biosolids impacted equipment. It damaged some of our equipment. The compaction of the field was a concern. The weight of the biosolids compacted our fields to a point we had to deep rip them to resume normal harvest. And in addition, the use of one of our DLDs hindered our normal summertime harvest production for this process. Phase 3 dewatering by belt press. In April 2024, biosolids emergency update was presented to your board and identified the need for continued supplemental biosolids harvest operation until a long-term solution could be identified and implemented. In December of 2024, a multi-year contract was awarded for dewatering and disposing of 14,000 dry tons per year using a mechanical dewatering process. The mechanical dewatering process consisted of dredging from our solid storage basins, piping it to a belt press, and then separating the liquid from the solids. On-site disposal of these solids occurred during the summer months of up to 9,000 dry tons, and we hauled off during the winter months due to field saturation of up to 5,000 dry tons. This was implemented starting in 2025 and is currently going on now. As it looks right now, out in the field, phase 3 and subsequent phases will be using this belt press process. At the top of this photo, there's the polymer mixing tanks. Solid sludge is pumped from the solid storage basin, mixed with polymer in these tanks, and then pumped over to the belt filter presses. The belt filter presses essentially squeeze the sludge, separating the water and the solids, and deposit what we know as cake onto a loading pad. This cake is almost the consistency of dry cake batter out of a box. It's then loaded from a front loader and dumped into trucks that are weighed to determine how much has been deposited and processed, and then spread on site on our line DLD sites alongside our normal summertime harvest operations. This is a close-up picture of the belt press. The solids comes up to the top, goes through the belt press, squeezed out, the centrates return back to the process. The cake is piled up and deposited, disposed of on site. Supplemental harvest does come at a cost. Phase 1 and Phase 2, implemented in fiscal year 23-24, had a total cost of just under $10 million. Phase 3 operation, which started in fiscal year 24-25, we got about a half a year's operation on this phase at a cost of about $7 million. Phase 4 and subsequent phases that'll be needed will have an annual cost of about $14 million a year. We expect at least 2 more years. The contract allows for 2 more years of supplemental harvest by contract, but likely we'll have to go well beyond that until a permanent solution is constructed. That permanent solution was identified through our biosolids management plan. Staff that we mentioned earlier, mostly predominantly in-house staff with the support of some external experts, national experts, got together and evaluated long-term solutions. We had a planning horizon of 2048, which synchronizes with our planning horizon for our liquid side done with the EcoWater program. This effort was initiated in May of 2024 and recently completed. We had 4 consultant contracts. These firms served as technical advisories, a committee. They helped review documentation. They partnered in several workshops and ultimately ranked and helped recommend a final recommendation for the future of our biosolids. The selection process that we used, we identified a total of 16 different alternatives, new technologies and processes that are out there. From those 16, the team and the technical advisory committee shortlisted and ultimately selected the recommended alternative based on weighted substantial factors. Really, it was a quadruple bottom line that was used: financial analysis, and then some three non-financial analysis, including social, technical, and environmental. It's important to note that the selected alternative was not only the lowest life cycle cost, financially the best project, but it had the highest ranking as far as social, technical, and environmental impacts. The recommended project is a primary sludge thickening. This will help increase our ability to digest and avoid future expansion of digesters. Also, it is dewatering facilities. This will help dewater the biosolids into a more solid product and allow us to dispose of more of that on site. It's 50,000 dry tons per year. It's likely going to consist of centrifuges, odor control, and supporting tanks and equipment. In addition to that, we may be needing a 7.25 biosolids warehouse. It's an enormous warehouse, and this is so we can store biosolids during the winter months. And we estimate needing to store up to 4 months of winter storage. Staff is looking at other options to this, such as storage on our DLDs, and we'll be piloting and looking at those and seeing if we can limit the size or even eliminate the warehouse. Other projects include upgrade to our extraction well system that's in and around the plant, and a fifth waste-activated sludge thickener prior to digestion. In addition, in the future, we will likely have to decommission our solid storage basins. The level of decommissioning is yet to be determined. We're working with the water board to determine what that entails. We did look at many new technologies such as gasification and pyrolysis and other high heat alternatives. Unfortunately, they're largely unproven. The EPA's tentative assessment, risk assessment, identifies as land disposal on dedicated land disposal sites as the preferred method for disposal and handling of potential contaminants such as PFAS. The EPA's assessment also indicates that pyrolysis and gasification are more so considered a pilot scale now and need future testing in order to determine efficacy of such things as PFAS. We looked at implementation, whether we implement now or we try to defer, but the primary sludge thickening and the digested sludge dewatering and warehouse, it's recommended that we implement immediately. This is a cost savings to the district. During this time, it'll take about 8 years to implement this. We will need to continue to do supplemental harvest operations in order to stay ahead of our biosolids accumulation and not get back in a situation where we're risking plant process. Again, the SSBs will likely have to be decommissioned. How we do that will be determined in the future. And we expect this facility, the future facilities 8 years from now, to require about 8 additional staff total to operate these facilities. Capital cost, the total capital costs of this program are approaching $450 million. The projects are listed out here: primary sludge being at about $130 million, digested sludge dewatering facility and warehouse being the largest of projects at about $300 million, and then the other projects totaling about $13 million. Operational expenditures. Primary sludge thickening facility will increase our annual operations and maintenance costs by $1.4 million a year. Digested sludge dewatering facility and warehouse will increase that cost by about $5 million a year. The supplemental harvest is a temporary cost of $14 million, and it will sunset in about 8 years when these other facilities come online. Biosolids 10-year funding projections look like this. You can see the darkest gray or blue line is the capital expenditure of about $450 million. The green line on top of that line is our current supplemental harvest operation that will continue for the next 8 years. And you can see at year 8, that goes away, and we start a new annual operating cost in the magenta color for our future biosolids efforts. These are the red line is a cumulative cost over a period of time. All these costs are escalated to the midpoint of construction. Total program 10-year program costs are approaching $600 million. These costs are included in our long-term financial plan. While we implement these future projects, staff will be looking to optimize our current processes. Part of doing that is, we do that anyways as part of our normal business, but anything we can optimize now may reduce the size of these future projects. We'll explore alternatives for biosolids storing during the winter months. we'll look to improve digester performance so we can reduce some of the size of these projects. And we're going to look to streamline the harvest water operations or take this operations on ourselves versus paying a contractor to continue to do this. So in conclusion, additional plant upgrades and funding are needed to meet our biosolids disposal demand due to our 2010 permit requirements. Funding needed presented today in the long-term financial plan. It's included in there. And the biosolids management plan is on file, and the executive summary was part of your board packet. But both can be found at sacsewer.com under our sustainability page. And with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Member Hume?
Thank you, Chair. Sonny, obviously being hit with a $600 million bill seemingly out of nowhere encourages a lot of armchair quarterbacking, so I'm going to resist that urge, but I do want to have a better understanding of how we got here, because this seems like a pretty significant overshot, right? The Apollo astronauts are still floating off into space. They're not getting brought home. How did we get here? What is so different about the biosolids after the nutrient removal that has created this situation? How does it behave differently? Because when I remember this first kind of aired its head, it was the fact that the biosolids in the SSB were making islands and not allowing for the appropriate flow the way it was modeled, and we were going to put in like an agitator to spread them back out so that it would flow. I mean, how did we go from what we thought was going to be the solution to now we have to tack on $600 million worth of improvement? And then my colleague brought it up, if in looking at your expenditure slide, at the end of this, we're still at a $7-point-something million annual expenditure to run the new operations. How is spending $600 million to spend $7 million a year better than just continuing to spend $14 million a year?
I'll answer the last question first.
Okay.
The $14 million a year only gets us about 14,000 dry tons removal.
Okay.
We need 50,000 dry tons.
Okay.
To maintain and get back capacity and for future growth. So it's a significant difference between what we're doing supplementally and what we ultimately need of 14 to 15,000 dry tons. The first question, how did we get here? The biosolids, the characteristics of biosolids was an unintended consequence of our BNR process. We had a pilot project. The pilot project for our processes estimated a production of solids that is similar to what we're getting now. What we didn't see as part of the pilot project was the characteristics, the bulking of the biosolids and the indestructibility of the biosolids. During the pilot project, that those technologies were not piloted, so there was no way at that scale to see that effect in our processes. Nor was there an opportunity to look outside of our plant and look for another opportunity. Our plant is very unique in the fact that we went from a high rate, high pure oxygen biological process to a biological nutrient removal process with on-site disposal. No other plant that we know of has done that. So there was really no blueprint for us to follow there.
And so am I gathering from what you're saying then that the resultant biosolids from the change in process, that they actually act differently and don't break down as easily and result in a completely different quote-unquote product than what we were getting previously?
Yes.
And we couldn't anticipate that at scale? It worked in the pilot project at the sort of reduced impact, but we couldn't anticipate it at scale.
Correct. Our biosolids both our solid storage basins and our biosolids processes are real, as the current plant sits, very wide spots in our process. So even in our current operation of the full plant, it took us many months to actually see this. As a result, 18 months after BNR came online, then we started seeing this accumulation of biosolids. There's no way at the pilot level that we would have seen that. Now, had we have piloted that separately at that scale, it still would have been very difficult to see. It's very similar to what we saw 18 months after we had here at the treatment plant. So the characteristics, both the non-destructibility of the biosolids and the bulking of the biosolids, non-settling of the biosolids, is really the reason why we're here.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I add one piece of clarification? I think there was one point that you made, Director Hume, that I don't think Sunny addressed, and it was you were describing how we had been doing the agitating of the ponds, and that whole process, and maybe we didn't communicate that well, but that was always a temporary fix to try to get through this initial emergency. And there was always the knowledge that there was something coming. We just didn't know what it was, and so that was the process that they embarked on to do this plan and figure out what is the long-term fix.
Member Desmond?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Director Hume. I want to piggyback a little bit on his points. I mean, this is obviously a bitter pill to swallow, this amount of money. Christoph, you and I talked a little bit last week about how so many other treatment plants, they rely much more heavily on transporting their solids off-site. But I'm curious, any other plants, either in California or throughout the country, have they been experiencing a similar situation with their biosolids? Because you talked a little bit about how it's also, we've seen a change in the ability to break down these biosolids. I mean, there's something has changed with the biodegradability. Can you just talk a little bit about what other treatment facilities are experiencing in this regard as well?
Well, what we were talking about is the difference between our facility where we're keeping it all here and it's having these impacts to the process, whereas some of those other facilities are taking it off site, and so they're just seeing it as a larger volume. It's not impacting their processes. But I think the significant difference between us and some of those other facilities is that, as Sunny mentioned, the high purity oxygen, so we had a different system that we started with and that we changed to. So it wasn't just that we created this new process, it's that the system that we had was different than those other comparable ones. So the changes were more dramatic in this case, unfortunately, than maybe some of those other facilities. And I don't know if, Sunny, do you know which other, we did visit some other facilities, didn't we, that had a BNR or?
That was, during the design of the process was before my time, but I'm sure, Jeremy, you may recall that we visited other facilities, but.
With the BNR process.
With BNR process, yes. And we had experts that had participated on other BNR projects as well. But to answer part of your question too, is the BNRs that are out there, they are experiencing similar type non-destructibility of biosolids. In current literature and research indicates that. Whether that was known 15 years ago when we embarked on this, I'm not exactly sure.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Cerna?
Thank you, Chair. So a few comments and a question, I guess. First of all, I appreciate Director Hume's point. I think we're all kind of feeling the same way about this, and certainly during my briefing I expressed to Christoph my surprise and disappointment. But when you think about the answer to the question, the 14,000 tons versus the 50,000 tons, just to put a finer point on that, how close did we actually get to an emergent situation fairly recently in terms of not being able to do what was necessary to keep us from violating our permit? And I guess I'm looking at our director.
Yeah, well, that's the 3 weeks. Yeah, so that would have been a major violation of our permit, and not really an acceptable situation. And we were about 3 weeks away. So it was. We kept calling it kind of a slow-moving emergency. It wasn't an emergency as in snap your fingers today, but we knew that it was coming very quickly if we didn't do something, and that was set up over an 18-month period or so, where This was slowly accumulating, and we're starting to see problems, and then you're trying to troubleshoot, figure out what is the problem, what's causing this. But it came, so that was building a lot of momentum behind it in terms of that emergency situation was getting worse and worse.
So in terms of the actual proposed facility, what I'll call the world's most expensive warehouse, what, if any, cost consideration is part of what you've showed us in terms of what you today are estimating relative to applied technology for odor control? I'm playing the part of an Elk Grove City Council member now.
Well, there definitely will be odor control facilities, as we do have on all of our processes. But in terms of, are you looking for a quantity or percentage?
Well,
or?
no, I'm just, what can the community, surrounding community, expect in terms of, I hope the answer is little if no change, right? But it's going to be, that's a lot of material to have warehoused on the property. And you know, the narrative that we're hearing today is that we're a guinea pig, and it's a product of just the unique circumstance we find ourselves in that dates back to 2010 when we got the edict from water quality to elevate our processes to tertiary level, and so that's why I think much of the response has been, well, you know, we really couldn't have seen too much into the future because we are the future. I remember back in the days of the pilot, it was really mostly, if I'm not mistaken, about comparing media in terms of filtration and getting the ammonia extracted. So I guess I want to understand how will the surrounding public not feel any impacts or maybe better expressed, feel the product of minimized impacts, because again, this warehousing is, to me, feels like kind of new technology.
That's not the case. I know we have some examples. Maybe I'll let Sunny address this, but there is some examples.
At this scale?
Probably not this scale, but
Right.
I'll let Sunny go.
There are other examples, not at this scale that we looked at. There are smaller warehouses, you know, acres of warehouse that have odor control units on them. Sometimes they're enclosed, sometimes they're open atmosphere with air draw, but there's odor control systems designed specifically for those situations. This is a little similar to when we did the harvesting bio or geotubes. We stored that in geotubes, let it dry, and then we opened up a whole bunch of geotubes. And we were worried about odor controls and the impact to residents at that. So we put some odor control measures in place in case we had those odors. We did not experience any significant odors above what our normal odors are at that time. So, and that's a real life, you know, small, little bit smaller scale pilot here without odor control.
And that was direct release to atmosphere, right?
I'm sorry, say it again.
That was direct release to atmosphere, correct?
It was, yes.
Okay. And then finally, again, going back to my briefing with Christoph, I think there's probably never been a greater challenge for our communication staff here with the district, because this is going to be something I think is obviously going to draw a lot of media attention. And it's going to be critical, at least in my humble estimation, it's going to be critical for there to be a lot of thought put into how the explanation, the narrative, going all the way back to 2010. And it's not going to be about, hey, they made us do it. It's you know, our position should be it's the right thing to do by now, right? Because we've been investing as long as we have now for well over a decade to get us where we're at. But I do think our PIO staff, they need to be very thoughtful about how to craft all of that, how to explain the necessary new amended revenue streams that are going to be required to pay for the $600 million price tag. And that should not be a last minute consideration. That should be something that I think they should be considering today in terms of how best to get that message out and at least be prepared, but be proactive about it. This is not something that we, I think, want to be caught flat-footed and be completely reactive to. I think we have to be responsive and responsible for our own story and why this is necessary and how it's going to be paid for and the technologies involved and who's going to be impacted and who's not going to be impacted and what benefits come with it, if any. So there's that. And then lastly, we're going to take suspended solid basins out of commission, correct? So do we know roughly what the total acreage is of that?
Jeremy, do you recall the total acreage of our SSBs?
Yeah, this is Jeremy Boyce, Senior Civil Engineer here at the Ecowater Operations Department. We have about 20 basins, and each basin on average is about 5 acres in total.
Is there any benefit to our systems, processes, that can we make lemonade out of lemons here? Is there any beneficial use that we can put that acreage to once those basins are decommissioned? Has any thought been given to that?
Those basins could potentially be future lined DLD sites because of their size. If we needed to expand our on-site disposal, we could potentially repurpose those basins for that purpose.
Okay. Christoph, I don't know if you wanted to respond to the messaging / public affairs or public relations part of what I had to share.
Sure, just quickly, based on our previous conversation, I did talk with Nicole, and I know that she is working on developing some talking points, so we're already thinking about that and trying to capture some of the key points that Sunny has talked about today, and also we can incorporate some of the questions that you've had, because those are probably the same types of questions that the public would ask.
We're going to be your best devil's advocate, always. So, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Member Suen?
Thank you, Chair. I start off by thanking Director Cerna for raising the issue about odor as an Elk Grove, one of the Elk Grove representatives. Wanted to follow up with Director Desmond's comments. You know, we mentioned, sort of referenced other facilities, what they're doing. And we embarked on this pilot program. We know now, you know, it's going to require another $600 million investment in over 10 years. That's 600 million reasons why to ask, is this still the right path? And I know it's 10 years' time, but you know, there's sunk costs that if we need to pivot to something that's more efficient and financially advantageous for the future, it's worthwhile to examine. And have you taken a look at that?
The evaluation of alternatives included just many factors along that lines. What's our ability to adapt, giving future regulations that come down the road? This was the best alternative for adapting to those things. The process for dewatering and sludge thickening by centrifuges is a very common, well-known process out there in the industry. And then disposing to land disposal, although not on site, off-site, is very well known as well. All of this serves as building blocks for any future regulations that come to us. So this is kind of setting that groundwork for future adaptability.
So do you feel that other facilities will run into these similar challenges that we're facing as well?
I believe there are facilities that will run into similar challenges. Now, we went from a process that other facilities didn't have to a new process, so they may not have the magnitude of that challenge, but they will have similar challenges that are out there, and we'll learn from one another.
Okay, thank you.
Director Orozco, please.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to thank our colleague, Vice Chair Cerna, for those questions, because it was because of the responses that some of my questions were erased. I did want to know, I know in the last 9 years of my sitting on this board, one of our biggest sensitivities is how we protect the ratepayers from impact. And we talk at length about our sewer lifeline program and making sure that vulnerable communities are not feeling the brunt of these immense investments. With that stated, I mean, we're talking about the general public and feeling the impacts of the odors that might have been, which apparently weren't as astronomical as one can imagine. But what about the decision that we make here and how this might impact the generations of folks? And obviously, you know, doing it the right way or doing it a certain way has its price tag, as we're all feeling the shock here. But how is that going to impact our ratepayers and other impacts on operations that we're pouring into in the future?
So our next presentation, TEPA is going to go through our long-term financial plan and address specifically the impacts to ratepayers so that you get a sense of the magnitude of the cost for them. And keep in mind too that these are planning level numbers. They do have a lot of contingency built into them. It's a long time before we get to actually bringing forward contracts and designs and things like that. So at every opportunity, we're looking for ways to reduce those costs and the impacts to ratepayers. But this is where we stand today, and TEPA is going to be able to share how that looks from a financial perspective.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Is there any public comment on this issue?
Pardon me, we do not have any public comment for item number 8.
Okay, so there's no action, just receive and file. Then we'll move to the next item, please.
Madam Chair, item 9 is receive the 2025 update of the long-term financial plan and approve the capital funding projection for fiscal years 2025 through 26 through 2034 through 2035. Presenter Tepa Banda, Director of Finance.
Could we bring up the PowerPoint? All right, there we go. Good morning, Chair and members of the board and everyone in attendance here. My name is Tepa Banda. I'll present the long-term financial plan, the update for this year, 2025. So that's an overview of my presentation. I'll give an overview of the state of the economy very broadly and critical issues, that's risks, some of it we were just talking about in the last presentation. I'll present the capital funding projection, which includes the biosolids improvements that were just presented. And then I'll share some assumptions, some key assumptions driving our forecast, and then a summary of our results, which hopefully would address questions from Member Orozco about the impacts on fees and rates. And then a debt management plan and some action items for our staff, and then I'll end with recommended actions that we'll be seeking from the board. So in general, which is a good thing given all these biosolids emergencies that we're talking about, is that SACSO is in excellent financial condition, and that puts us in a really good place to deal with all these problems that we're talking about. The last few years since COVID, the region has been growing briskly, and so that has a good effect on our revenues. The rates that the board approved last year, 2024, we had a 3-year rate plan that was increased that helped stabilize our financials coming out of all that high inflation that we experienced during the COVID years. But because of these additional pressures, we are looking to some more rate increases, although I would say these rate increases that I'll share in a few minutes here are much more muted compared to what we had. I think the last ones we had a $10 increase in 3 years over the treatment system rates, and we had a $7.50 total increase on the collection system rates. The ones we're looking at over the next 10 years are much, much lower than that. So, and that's in big part to where we are right now. We expect more grant revenue from the California Water Commission. We're not forecasting them in our focus right now trying to be conservative, but that could also be a positive that would help the picture that we're about to share here today. We obviously have, there's a lot of policy uncertainty at the federal level, as we all know from the news, so how that plays out, we don't know. How it affects, if it affects interest rates, then it affects our cost of doing business. If inflation goes up because of some of this, then it also affects our cost of business. So we'll be keeping an eye on those, and as usual, we come back with a financial plan update every year, so we'll keep building those in as they unfold. Critical issues, which essentially are risks, and the very first one makes a lot of sense now. Regulatory compliance changes. Our permit, which was updated in 2010, which gave rise to the Echo Water project, I think that is up for renewal in 2026, which is next year. I guess we'll keep our fingers crossed that we don't have requirements that are very costly. But we do have clean fleet regulations that I think staff are still studying the impacts of those. So those are some of the risks that we have to. So at this point, we don't exactly know what the financial or other impacts are. So we're not really modeling those in our financial analysis. But that's something that could affect what we're looking at today. Lawsuits, of course, with all these, especially the capital projects. And now that we're an employer, those are two sources that could, in the course of business, could generate lawsuits that could impose significant costs on the districts. Economic conditions, I alluded to that. There's a lot of that that's out of our control. How well our economy is doing locally and how well the regional economy is doing. All those are potential risks that we have to, that could derail our plan here. Natural disasters, aging infrastructure. We have a number of big projects in our long-term financial plan to address aging infrastructure. And some of those things can be accelerated by natural disasters. And the Staffing Services Initiative is almost complete at this point. This is the process we've been through over these past few years of separating our operations from the County of Sacramento. At this point, we're only down to a few system installation, implementation issues with our financial management system, our payroll systems. Most major issues have been fixed. We're still, tying up a few loose ends at the end, but so far things are going well. We are still tied significantly to the county because we still use DTEC, the Department of Technology, for our internet, for online and internet infrastructure. So we are still exposed to any issues that might come from the county's operation of those systems. So that's in summary some of the major issues or risks that could we might have to deal with over the next 10 years. And so here summary of our capital funding projection. I'll present the collection system. In the next slide will be the treatment system. As you know, we have to keep the finances of these two systems independent. So for the collection system, over the 10 years, the projection of our capital spending is a total of $217 million, and much of those coming in the first 5 years, about $177 million. And that's just a summary of the key projects, or rather key project areas that the plan deals with. The big chunk of that, more than a little over a third of it, is the system capacity. These are projects that help to increase capacity for the growing region. As we have seen these past few years, the region has grown significantly, continues to grow. So there's a continued need for these projects to happen to improve the size of our system to deal with the increased flows. And then, of course, the rehabbing main lines is another big, almost a quarter of our plan here is to keep our main lines and laterals in good condition so we can avoid all those disasters that could happen with pipe bursts and things like that. The NESI rebuild, which is the North Area Corporate, I think if maybe the last board meeting there was a presentation on how that was. So that's a big driver also of the collection system costs, which is also included here. I think out of that $48 million, the actual cost for the NESI rebuild is about almost $42 million at this point. So Going over to the treatment system, that one's much bigger. We have much bigger scale projects on the treatment system, a total of $1.4 billion over the next 10 years, with over $1 billion in the very first 5 years, largely in part to the introduction of the biosolids improvements. As you can see, it's the biggest chunk of our capital funding right there. Almost a third of our biosolids is going to be to address these capital improvements. Hopefully it comes down, and as we just heard, these are engineering level estimates at this point, and hopefully as more refined planning gets underway, maybe we see some cost reductions in those costs. But right now, it's the lion's share of our funding projection. The harvest water is underway right now, so the cost that you see there is what is remaining over the next few years as they continue to implement the remaining segments of the project. So it's still sizable, about a quarter of our long-term funding projection over the next 10 years. We got some big interceptor projects included there. There is the Central Interceptor Rehab, which is about $160 million, over $160 million. And then a new interceptor proposed for the East Rancho Cordova area to provide capacity for that growth in that part of the county. And then we have a lot of projects right here on this facility that are meant to keep this facility working. A few key ones are the digester rehabs that that have to continually happen to keep the digesters in good shape. There's a chiller replacement project, about more than $80 million. There's a lining of the landfill, about $25 million, and a few other rehab projects. So in short, that's an overview of our capital funding projection for the treatment system. Next, I'll just share a few what I think are key assumptions driving our. So we take the capital funding projection, which is essentially our capital spending, and we layer on our operational spending for salaries and services and supplies and debt service and all those things. And that's how we come up with our long-term financial plan. So these are driving mostly on our so the growth, the assumption on growth, that's a big driver on our revenue estimates. We're fairly conservative. Generally, our approach in these forecasts have been conservative, which I think has helped us find ourselves in this excellent position, despite all the problems or the big ticket items that we've had to deal with over the last few years. So our growth over the last few years has actually exceeded the 0.5, but we're sticking to that because I think it works in our favor in the long term. We think interest rates are going to fall a little bit, but with all the uncertainty, both sides, we feel that it remain elevated. So we're assuming around 3 to 4%, interest income on our cash balances. It's one of our major sources of revenue, especially for our non-rate, non-fee programs. We do have grant receipts, significant grant receipts that we are factoring into our forecast here. About $33 million was approved for our septic conversion projects. This is on the collection system side. We have about 4 projects there converting septic systems in a few communities, rural communities around the county. And so far, I think we have received almost $370 million for harvest water. And there is potential for more. So that would also help our situation. And then we have an assumption for some funding that we're expecting. The IRA, that's the Inflation Reduction Act, it provided funding for some of that we qualify for because of our renewable energy project, the Biogen. We're being very conservative here as well. From the analysis of our tax consultants who are helping us, because the funding is coming as a tax credit, although we don't pay taxes, we would get it as a direct payment. They're estimating anywhere from 28 to 51 million as possible payments that we could receive under the IRA for this project. So we're just going with the low estimates here. Realistically, it could be close to 40 million key aspects that I think are not very solidified, whether we'll meet all our domestic steel requirements. That's a key one that's driving that assumption. Over our different cost items or wages, other services and supplies, they escalate at different, rates. And so generally our escalation rates for inflation are between 2 to 5%, which we think is reasonable. And then we do have these targets for our debt service coverage ratios. These are key because in our bond covenants, we have certain minimums that we have to meet. So we set those up. The 2.5 there that you see, that's for our collection system. We set it a little bit higher because that gives us, the higher the ratio, that means the more money you have after you pay operating costs. And that money you can use it to service debt or to pay your capital program. And because we're self-funding the collection system capital program, we have a much higher target there to make sure we have cash really to fund our capital program on that end, and to, of course, to meet our debt service payments. And we're a little bit lower on the treatment system, which is the 1.45, because we do issue debt for some of the big projects. We plan to issue debt for some of the big projects because they're new. They're sort of set up for debt financing. And so that's the driver behind those. Our legal minimums, which is codified in the board covenants, is 1.2. So those ratios are well above that. So they provide us enough cushion to deal with any adverse changes. And we do have to maintain positive unreserved cash balances, and we have to fully fund our designated reserves. So all those assumptions sort of drive what our long-term focus looks like, which you have in the report. So with all those, with the capital funding projection and those assumptions that we used to focus the next 10 years, this is sort of a snapshot of where that leaves us. So operating revenues would grow about 1.9% on average. This is down from about 3.2 in the last iteration that we presented last year. That was driven mainly by the increases that were approved last year. The additional rate increases that we're proposing are much lower, so you see a lower revenue growth. Operating expenses are focusing to grow at an average of 4.3% a year. That's also lower than last year, when we had 5.1% forecast over the 10 years. So both of those things are, at least the costs are trending in the right direction. There's a delta there, but it's okay because our cost basis is much smaller than our revenue basis. So although the percentages are different, the actual revenues would be enough to cover our growing costs. Our cash balances would remain above target. Our debt coverage ratios, we'll be able to maintain those throughout the period, but we would need, what I alluded to, some modest rate increases to maintain our coverages and to provide the financial resources to cash fund some of our needs. So at this point, we are looking at another 4 years. In this coming 10 years, next year we have the third increase that was approved last year. But after that, we're looking at 4 more years of an average of $1.50 a year, which is a total of $6. As you recall, last year we asked for $10 over these 3 years ending next year. We're looking at another $1.50. That is mainly driven because, the solid improvements, we need to issue some debt to pay for that, but that obviously brings up debt service on that debt. So we need some extra revenue to help pay for that borrowing that we're going to do. So that's really the main driver here. And then for the collection system, we were also looking at some increases of about 75 cents a year, a total of about $3 over 4 years. The goodness, well, maybe it's not so good, but at least if you look at the timelines, they are one after the other. So the first 4 years where we need some treatment system rate increases, we don't need increases on the collection system. And then the collection system increases come at the tail end of our 10 years. And that's in part because of how our current debt portfolio is structured on the collection system. We will start paying more principal and so our debt service costs are actually going to go up in those 4 years, which match this increase. So this is driven a lot by that increase in our debt service costs, debt that was acquired a while back. But the structure was, it pushed out some of the principal repayments, and so we'll have about a $3 million increase in our debt service on our existing debt. So that's driving a lot of that additional increase needed to maintain our coverage ratios and, of course, to keep our cash balances for funding the capital program. And as I alluded to, we would be looking to issue debt in next fiscal year and the following fiscal year. So last year when we presented the long-term financial plan, we were only looking at one debt issuance, which was mainly driven by the Harvest Water project. And we were assuming $225 million then, which we were hoping would be required this calendar year, 2025. But the Harvest Water project construction costs have trended in the right direction. There's been some readjustment downwards. So, and then we've gotten additional grant funding. And so our need for debt financing for the Harvest Water has come down, which has helped the situation. So from the 225, we've revised that issuance estimate down to 150 million next year. But because of the biosolids price tag that's come up, we're looking at an additional about 280 million to help with the biosolids financing in fiscal year 28-29. So that's a summary of where the long-term plan is looking like at this point. So I'll go over a little bit on our debt, and of course we do use a lot of debt. So on the collection system, we have existing debt, and as of August 1, our outstanding balance was 153 million. I pointed at this before that currently we're paying about 13.6 million in annual debt service as principal and interest. But over the last 4 years of this 10-year period, that amount will reset to 16.6 as we accelerate the repayment of principal. So that's a $3 million increase without doing anything. So in the last 4 years, we'll be paying $3 million more just to service our existing debt. And that's what's driving our proposed increases or projected increases that we might need to make in those fiscal years. We do have one of our outstanding bonds is the Buy America bonds, which comes with a subsidy from the federal government. Right now it's about 2.3 million. It helps us offset some of our debt costs. In this plan, we're not looking to issue any debt for the collection system. We have sufficient cash resources to pay our capital program using pay-go revenues. But we do have some opportunities to refinance some of this debt. So maybe that 16.6 million comes down if we are successful. Looking at what the numbers we've been seeing with the analysis, with our financial advisors and our investment bank partners, we could generate savings of up to 7%, which is above our debt policy, where we put the threshold for about 3%. If we can save 3%, then we consider that a worthwhile refunding transaction. So we think we're in good place to refund our 2015 bonds, so that would help with our ongoing costs on the collection system. And we're also exploring the 2010 BABs, Buy America bonds. Right now, the economics don't favor a refunding. It might come at a cost, so we might not. But then the uncertainty on federal funding, which might jeopardize that subsidy, is still a driver for us. So if we can get conditions where we can get some minor savings, we might go for that to eliminate that risk from the federal government funding going away, and then of course maybe to shave off some of our costs on debt financing. So that's our plan on the collection system. And the treatment system has a lot more debt largely because of the Eco Water project, which we just finished. The gift that keeps on giving. It's the Eco Water, out of that 1.85 billion outstanding as of June 30th, the Eco Water project accounts for about 85% of that. is money we borrowed to implement it's a combination largely of the SRF loans. We got almost $1 billion from SRF, which was very good debt because it was 1.6, 1.7, so very favorable terms. But the district also issued some revenue bonds at the beginning of the project. I think it's in 2020, 2021, or it's 2014 and 2020, which is still outstanding and we're still servicing. Currently, our debt service is about $128 million a year. But with those issuances that I talked about, the 150 that I do show them there, and the 280, our debt service is projected to go up. And at this moment, we're looking at 153 annual debt service costs at the end of this 10-year plan. As we have elaborated in our debt policy, we will continue to use PAYGO to fund rehab projects. So all this new debt that we're issuing, as I show there, is really for new projects. We have significant rehabs, the central rehab projects, and significant rehab projects here at the plant. We are able to cover those with our cash, our cash reserves, as well as these new rates that we're asking. And so in summary, this is some of our big ticket items on what we'll be working on to manage our finances. I will be looking to refund the 2015 bonds as long as conditions stay the same, or at least stay favorable. We will be going through with that most likely next year. And then we will continue monitoring conditions to whether we can refund the 2010 BABs as well. And of course, our team, as led by the policy and planning, are actively, pursuing additional opportunities to get more grant funding. We just learned I think it was last month, that a big project that received funding from the California Water Commission, what project was that? The Pacheco Reservoir project by Valley Water in Santa Clara. They had a big $504 million in funds from the water sector investment program, which we get a big funding for the harvest water. That they canceled their project and they withdrew that funding. So that funding is likely to be redistributed, and SACSWA is I think in a good place to get some of that funding. How much we'll get, we don't know, but it could be significant, and so that is something we are hopefully looking forward to help our financials. Conservatively, we are not showing it yet here, but I think when we come back next year, we'll probably know how much we're getting at that point, and so that is expected to have a much better impact on what we're presenting here. And so we'll be working on debt issuances for the harvest water and the biosolids, the harvest water coming up sooner. We have 150 here that we're showing for harvest water, but if we do, in fact, get additional resources from the California Water Commission, from that redistribution of the Pacheco project location, then that 150 might actually come down. So maybe our actual issuance may be much less than that. So there's some good tailwinds coming out of this. And lastly, we'll be looking at our investment portfolio. As you all know, we withdrew our funds from the local investment fund with the county, and we have been investing them on our own. But from the time the board authorized us to do that, we were moving our funds slowly. Starting in September 2022, we finally withdrew all our cash reserves in January this year. So during that time that we were making that move, we had funds with our external investment manager, and we had funds still in the local county fund. And so we had some diversification there in terms of who was managing our funds for us or managing our investing for us. But now that we've completely gone out of the county, we find ourselves with just one manager with oversight of our $300 million portfolio. So just good. So this is not asset diversification. This is would be looking at manager diversification, maybe adding a manager or two to diversify our risk, because right now our execution risk in our investment portfolio is concentrated in this one manager that we have. So we'll be exploring that, and of course, when we do get to a decision point, that's something we'll bring to the board to add maybe one or two managers to help just diversify our risk associated with just one manager. So that's the end of my presentation. If there are any questions or comments, I will take comments at this point.
Director Kaplan.
Thank you, Mr. Banda. I want to go back to your forecast assumptions. On two of them, I want a little bit more detail, where you said the customer growth rate is 0.5%. In actuality, how many customers does that equal when you're assuming 0.5%?
I will have to do my numbers. If anyone can crunch some numbers real quick there, that would be helpful. Our service area in terms of ESDs for the treatment system, which is the larger one, we have about 600, what is that, and 30 ESDs. So 0.5 of that would be, so 0.5 of about, say, 640 ESDs, 40,000 ESDs. So 1% of that is, thank you, Mike. So that's about 3,000 ESDs.
So it's basically about 3,000 residential-esque units that you're estimating, and this is for the greater region.
Right, net added every year.
Okay, I just wanted to, just because housing, while we've been in a little bit of boom, is getting harder to finance. So I think that's something you should watch and not just keep as the estimated growth through 34, 35, that should be looked at yearly and adjusted as we're heading into a recession. So 3,000 new residential units might actually be a lot, when I know as a region we're supposed to be building 10 to 15,000 a year. I just want to keep that on the forecast, that I don't want that to remain stable for the long-term range forecast. I want that something that we start looking at actuals for the yearly. And then the cost inflation factor, you put a range from 2 to 5%. I can tell you construction factor is 5% to 10% a year. So I wish I could actually believe your cost inflation factor numbers, but I don't. And I'm not sure we're being accurate or conservative enough when we're looking at certain things. So yay if we can keep it at 2 to 5%, but I would also like that factor to be looked at and potentially adjusted yearly, just because I know if we're heading into projects, I work in a different side of the construction industry, and there's a massive inflation and growth factor and delay in supplies that isn't hitting the 5%.
Well, thank you. Very great points, Director Kaplan.
Can I address that? So those are not the construction projects. So construction projects, we've done costing, and we actually project out to the midpoint of construction. So if it's going to be, middle of construction is 2028, then we would look at what the cost would be in 2028. Those numbers are significantly higher than 2 to 5%. That's talking about labor costs, services and supplies, those sorts of things.
Okay, because it just didn't clarify, said annual cost inflation. So especially as we're talking about construction projects here, where that probably has to be updated on construction yearly.
Continually updated, and you'll see those as we get closer to actually constructing. We'll be sharpening the pencil.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Christoph, for that clarification. So yes, those are not including the capital program. So the capital program is the cost that we already showed you, which accounts for those larger increases. And a few other things that are helping us keep that. So this is like a weighted average. So part of it is a cost savings. With the Biogen project expected to go online in 2028, I think 27 or 28, there's significant cost savings that we're expected to realize from that. And so that's kind of baked into our overall cost escalation, some of these cost savings. and maybe helping us to mitigate some of our inflationary factors.
And then just to confirm, when you talk about the modest rate increases, we've got increases coming through 27, 28. And then with the long-term financial plan, these new increases of $1.50 a year from 28 to 31, and then 75 cents a year from 2032 to 2035. So basically, we are increasing our rates every year from now until 2035.
Right.
Okay.
And for the growth rate, thank you. I think that's a good comment. 3,000 units might be aggressive, but over the last 3-4 years, we've been growing at almost 1%. So this would actually be halving what we have seen over the last few years. So
For a region, I agree, you would see 1%. I'm just very concerned about the recession and what I'm hearing from developers in my area.
thank you. And I think that's the why we have to do this every year, where we have to update the long-term financial plan every year, because a lot of things are in flux and constantly changing. So, we'll see what happens over this coming year, and we'll update those projections next year. Thank you. Any other questions?
Anyone else want to speak on this item? Are there any public comments on this item? I
We
believe
do
there
not have
is.
any public comments for item 9.
I couldn't hear you, please.
We do not have any public comments for item 9.
Okay. I believe there's an action associated with this.
Yes, so we essentially 2 actions. The first one is just to receive and file the long-term financial plan update.
We can do that.
Okay, good. And then the next one is to approve the 10-year capital funding projection, which we presented, the $1.4 billion over 10 years for the treatment system, and about $217 million for the 10 years over the collection system. So for that one, which includes the list of projects, I believe it's part of the, must be table 7 and 8 in the report. So for that one, we are looking for a motion to approve the funding
Okay,
projection.
need a motion? Oh,
Did-
I'm sorry, I can't see you.
That's all right.
You're a
I did
blur.
the tap, so it's a communication through Kaplan. Now I'll forget what I was going to say. Let's see, I just want to make sure that you understand that when you're approving this capital funding projection, it is just to get it on our program so we can plan for it. You still have several opportunities to review and approve these projects as they go through the process.
And some of them come at much lower cost than we project here, but this just gives us an approval that this list of projects that we're showing here, we have authority to continue working on them.
How
And
often
as
is
we
this
get to
plan updated? How often do you update it in 5 years and say we have a new 10-year plan?
We update it every year.
Every year?
So
Okay.
next year, the biosolids was not so big last year, and here we are, it's a really big item. Maybe next year, we'll get a positive surprise, so we update it every year.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
I'll move approval of the 2025 SAC Sewer 10-year capital funding projection.
Second.
Kaplan and Suen. Roll call, please.
Okay, it's been moved and approved by Kaplan and Suen. Director Desmond.
Aye.
Director Dickinson.
Aye.
Director Hume.
Aye.
Director Kaplan.
Aye.
Director Orozco. Director Pluckybaum. Director Rathel. Director Robles. Vice Chair Cerna.
Aye.
Director Soon.
Aye.
Director Vixie Sandy. And Chair Karpinski Costa.
Yes. A yes for me.
The item passes unanimously.
Thank you.
I don't like the word eyes, it's just like, okay. Is there another item?
Yes, just item 10, it's miscellaneous director matters from the director.
Do any of our directors have any miscellaneous items? Yes?
My colleague just pointed out if everybody could load their trunk with some biosolids on the way out, that would help with our.
I should think there'd be a market for it somewhere. Okay, are there any other important items to bring up? Okay, seeing none. is this time I bang the gavel and adjourn?
Yes, ma'am.
We're adjourned.